Let me take you back to April 28, 1988, to a sunny afternoon in Hawaii. It was around 1 p.m. when Aloha Airlines Flight 243 prepared for takeoff. A typical day in paradise, with passengers eager to enjoy their holidays. For those unfamiliar, Hawaii is a picturesque chain of islands in the Pacific Ocean and part of the United States. Renowned for its stunning beaches and lush landscapes, its capital, Honolulu, is a bustling hub. This flight, however, was a short hop from Hilo to Honolulu, a mere 35-minute journey between islands. The plane had already flown 8 trips that day, completing 3 full round trips. While this might sound intense, it was standard for such short-haul flights. Boarding was routine, the doors closed, and at exactly 1:25 p.m., the plane soared into the skies. Yet, as ordinary as it seemed, a sharp-eyed passenger noticed something unusual while boarding a small crack on the fuselage. She dismissed it, assuming the airline's routine inspections would have addressed it. Little did she know this minor crack would lead to a life-altering event. About 15 minutes after takeoff, the cabin crew began their service. Passengers remained buckled in as the plane climbed to its cruising altitude of 24,000 feet. Drinks were being served when suddenly chaos erupted. A deafening bang filled the air, followed by an intense rush of wind. The roof of the aircraft had ripped away, exposing passengers to the open sky. Metal shards and luggage flew violently, and the once cozy cabin turned into a scene of pure havoc. You see, planes maintain cabin pressure to allow us to breathe comfortably at high altitudes. Without it, the thin air at 24,000 feet becomes unbreathable. In emergencies, oxygen masks drop, providing passengers with enough air to last 15 to 20 minutes, just enough time for the pilot to descend to a safer altitude below 10,000 feet. But Flight 243's masks were useless. The explosion had destroyed the oxygen system, leaving passengers gasping for air. Hypoxia, a condition caused by a lack of oxygen, set in quickly. Within seconds, dizziness and confusion overtook many. Amidst the chaos, Michelle Honda, one of the 3 flight attendants, sprang into action. Crawling through debris and against roaring winds, she tried contacting the cockpit but received no response. Passengers, growing more desperate, feared the worst, that their pilots were gone. But in the cockpit, Captain Robert Schornsteimer and First Officer Mimi Tompkins were alive and fighting to save everyone. As the explosion rocked the plane, the experienced duo donned their oxygen masks and immediately initiated an emergency descent. Time was critical. Not only was the lack of oxygen threatening lives, but the plane's structural integrity was at its breaking point. The forward fuselage had sagged, leaving the floor as the only thing holding the cockpit and the rest of the plane together. Captain Schornsteimer skillfully steered the aircraft, descending rapidly at 4,100 feet per minute. Within 3 minutes, they reached 14,000 feet, where passengers could begin to breathe normally again. But their challenges were far from over. The Maui airport was the closest safe landing spot, but a 10,000-foot mountain loomed between them and the runway. Maneuvering the damaged aircraft through this treacherous terrain was a test of unparalleled skill. To make matters worse, as they approached the airport, the nose landing gear failed to deploy. A belly landing, a risky maneuver in the best of conditions, seemed inevitable. Considering the weakened fuselage, this option could result in the plane breaking apart entirely, potentially igniting the fuel tanks. Emergency services lined the runway, bracing for a disaster. The tension in the cabin was palpable. Passengers clung to their loved ones, praying for a miracle. Then came a glimmer of hope. Ground personnel spotted the nose gear lowering into place just in time. With one less worry, the pilots prepared for landing. Despite one engine failing en route to the runway, Captain Schornsteimer executed a near-perfect touchdown at 1:58 p.m., just 13 minutes after the explosion. Applause erupted as the plane came to a halt. Emergency teams rushed in, evacuating passengers via the emergency slides. Out of the 95 people on board, 94 survived. The lone fatality was 58-year-old flight attendant Clarabelle Lansing, who had been standing near the damaged section of the fuselage and was ejected during the explosion. Despite extensive searches, her body was never recovered. In the aftermath, Many passengers credited their survival to the pilot's exceptional skills and the seatbelt policy. Most passengers had kept their seatbelts fastened during ascent, a crucial factor that prevented them from being flung out of the aircraft. The incident sent shockwaves across the aviation industry. Investigations revealed that the aircraft, a Boeing 737, had endured over 89,000 flight cycles and nearly 36,000 flight hours. Years of pressurization and depressurization had caused fatigue cracks in its fuselage, weakening it to the breaking point. This tragedy led to significant changes in aviation safety standards, emphasizing rigorous inspections for aging aircraft. It also became a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, even for seemingly small details like a tiny crack on a plane's body. Flight 243 remains a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the extraordinary skills of pilots under pressure. It's a story of survival against the odds and a lesson in the importance of safety measures we often take for granted. What do you think of this incredible story? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Undiscovered Wonder for more captivating stories from history.